Mr. Jindal, is Trump behaving at this point in time like a bull in a china shop? He's like the phrase goes that he's painting everyone with the same brush. That is not possible. These sensitivities related to trade arrangements are obviously, like Dr. Kohli beautifully enunciated, are based on the strengths of a particular country and the ecosystem within that country. How is Trump overlooking all of this? What kind of advisors is he working with?
I think we need a very, very brilliantly drafted question. I think Donald Trump is a very, very intelligent and savvy businessman, and that's what he's exactly doing. What he has been running his businesses very successfully, and this is what he's trying to do with US. So what we'll be doing is, so if you see, look at the other angle. Now there have been tariffs and tariffs levied on various countries. For tariffs, as Sharad rightly mentioned, 2nd April, 9th April, 9th July, 1st August, deadlines after deadlines. But how many tariffs have actually been levied in this second term of Donald Trump? So according to me, according to the analysis of my organization, Aakash Jindal, he is using this tariff announcements, not tariffs, tariff announcements as strategy. These are all strategic announcements. He's announcing them, but I think the underlying strategy is that you make tariff announcements, and by the time the tariffs have to be actually implemented, you keep on increasing the deadline on some basis, one basis, second basis, third basis. By the time you have to actually implement, there will be many countries which will be ready to sit on negotiation table with you. While you sit on negotiation table, while you sit on a compromise table, certain things US may be able to extract. So I think what is happening is, like now talking about BRICS, we know there's not one country, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and so many countries that we'll be applying additional 10% tariff, then a list of tariffs on all countries. We all know that applying tariffs on all these countries, which he has announced, these 14 countries and BRICS nations, and the tariffs already announced, isn't practically possible at all. So we all know inflation would increase to a lot of extent. Plus, America is already struggling as an economy. America is not a successful economy today. Prior to Donald Trump joining in, during Russia-Ukraine war, US had 2 quarters after start of Russia-Ukraine war, negative GDP growth. That's technically what we call recession. Then US had to suspend the debt ceiling. They had to borrow more in order to meet their expenditure. Plus, US has been a deficit economy for many years. So we already know US is, as of now, not a very healthy economy. So now perhaps what he's doing is, build a sort of situation wherein you are levying tariff on almost every country. Then many of the countries would be sitting with you on negotiation tables, and maybe you are able to extract something from those countries. That could be one of the strategies which US may be following, and maybe because once they sit on negotiation tables, maybe they are able to extract something from some countries. As far as India is concerned, of course, we know where we are standing. We are a domestic demand-driven economy, and we have been performing wonderfully well. Even those months when the tariffs were announced, actually they were postponed, we had been doing wonderfully well. GST collection from our domestic sales, GST collections, we have primarily domestic demand-driven economy, 2.37 lakh crores for the month of April 2025. May 2025, 2.01 lakh crore. Again, GDP growth, January to March prior to this 2025, 7.4%, which is fastest among greater economies. So India, anyway, our economy is performing very well. So when our top leaders, they very intelligently and brilliantly say that, yes, we will be protecting our interests. Number one, the interests of our agriculturists. Number two, dairy farmers. Thirdly, we'll be trying for some benefits in those areas which are highly manpower intensive, since we have talented manpower which is available at viable rates which US doesn't have. So all those things, India, of course, would be a tough negotiator. Plus, Narendra Modi's personal rapport with Donald Trump is also going to make a positive difference. Plus, Indians in US, when I talk to a lot of them, US, they consider them peaceful and friendly people. So we are being generally loved there. So I think with India, of course, we'll be tough negotiators and the deal would be stuck. But with other countries, US may be able to gain something. That's what seems to be an underlying strategy. Because otherwise, what you are doing is You are announcing tariffs. How many tariffs have actually been implemented? That's the basic question. Out of all the tariffs which have been actually announced, how many have been actually implemented, executed? There have been postponements, deadline changes for some reason or the others. I think ultimately the strategy may prove beneficial. What I can say is a create a fear psychosis, and then dilute it. Say that yes, I'll penalize you by 10%. Then when somebody comes to you, okay, we'll sit on the table. Let's finalize that 4%. But end of the day, what are you doing is you are gaining 4%. You are not increasing your inflation because you are not at all importing at higher tariff because they were never implemented. But you have created a situation, you have created a fear psychosis wherein you are sitting on a stronger side with much more negotiation power because still US being the most powerful economy, nobody wants to distance itself. I mean, there would be some countries which are not doing that much business, which are not that dependent on US, but still, psychologically, the way US is structured, the way they are known to be the most powerful, biggest economy, everybody wants to do business with them. Nobody wants to distance itself from US. Of course, economies like China, which are export-oriented economies, are much more dependent on US than economies like India, which have a very, very strong domestic demand, which is a domestic demand-driven economies. In a similar way, there are other economies who are also having different structures, who are not that dependent on US. But would somebody love to lose business with US? I don't think there's any country in the world which would love to lose business with US. So I think
So
maybe
this
that
is